Hi there, friends. Today we'll be talking about a new documentary about UFOs. In fact, it's called On the Trail of UFOs Night Visitors. Also, stick around because after that, I'll be showing you some actual footage that I had taken of some unidentified flying objects for real. So stick around.
Ice cold lemonade.
I was sleeping and I just thought I was dreaming. It kept hearing, we came back for you. It was like whisper. So I go out and it's just getting brighter and brighter. I'm just like looking up and I just froze. Don't remember thinking anything, doing anything. It was just, Pastor Hammer was just standing there like looking up.
We found this weird jelly substance that was on its neck. This is one of the few things that's ever been found at a mutilation site. It was freaky.
And I'm only 9 to 12 years old. I'm a young girl. You'd hear the adults talking about police being called and cattle being killed and, UFOs being sighted and lights in the sky and Sasquatch creatures and banging on the house and paranormal activity, all of these crazy things.
A lot of times in the cattle mutilations, you read about blood being drained.
But a cow has, 7.5 gallons of blood, and there's never a drop anywhere. I don't think there are anything else that we can entertain. If it's a predator tears and shreds. So there are none of those. These have been verified, cauterized laser cuts.
Are you a fan of all things cryptozoology like Bigfoot, Mothman, Chupacabra, UFOs, and aliens? Well, if so, you may enjoy this documentary directed by Seth Breedlove and starring Seth as well as Shannon LeGros as they investigate some UFO phenomenon going on in southern Colorado. Especially this episode being about cattle mutilation. And when I say cattle mutilation, I really mean livestock mutilation, as they also investigate which shows the skeleton of the very first horse mutilation. Seth and Shannon investigate and interview people who claim to be eyewitnesses, as well as people who have stories, as well as people who say that they are, or claim to be, that they are professionals in the field. And there's a lot of hypotheses of what's going on, ranging from everything from aliens to interdimensional beings to you name it. And it's very, very interesting to see. Believable? Well, that's just left up to you to decide for yourself. Sprinkled about generously are some footage which appears to be real UFO footage, as well as some really obvious CGI fakes. But seemed obvious considering the series is funded by a Kickstarter project. All in all, here are the good and the bad things about this film that I liked and disliked. I liked the fact that they traveled down to South Colorado to get this information, as well as investigate these people who came out with all these claims and let them speak their peace of mind without being interrupted. I like the fact that the film did not try to be biased in any way and let the viewer decide what they wanted to believe. I also love the fact that you hear these stories about this horse who had died and was mutilated, but everybody had a different story until you found the real person who had the real skeleton of said horse, and they actually told you its real name other than what the story said. That part was awesome. What I didn't like, I would have to say the first thing that comes to mind to me would be the fake CGI footage of UFOs. True, they had some real stuff it looked like, which they could have used more of, but instead chose to use that CGI stuff, which makes people who don't know think that perhaps they're trying to sway you by making you think that's real. And I don't think that's the case, but that's the way it seemed to me, and I would not have put that in. Another thing I did not care for was the fact that you do not see much of Seth and Shannon's personalities. I would love to see them have some rapport with each other, or have her have some idiosyncrasy, which we know, and something to make them different. It just seems so cold for these two investigators to be there and just want to know some facts and truth, and know nothing about them or their personal lives or their fears and their dreams and whatever they are. I would love to have some more personality with both of them. So, should you see this movie? Well, that depends. Are you also into this kind of stuff like I am? UFOs and aliens and other cryptozoology creatures like Bigfoot and Mothman? Then yes, this series is definitely worth a look at, as well as their other titles. If not, then you probably will be bored. Don't even bother.
Ice cold lemonade.
You stuck around. Good. Now, this is something I want to show you that I can't describe. It started my belief in UFOs. It was either the late 70s or early 80s. I'm not quite sure because my mind doesn't remember the exact date. But in New York, I remember seeing something big. In fact, a lot of us did. It was a huge witness event. In fact, my whole family, as well as my dad's partner, he was a cop in New York City. And his partner, who lived in the city, his son stayed with us. And my sister stayed with his family in the Bronx. And I'll never forget the night this happened. We saw a show on TV. It was a movie called Kingdom of the Spiders with William Shatner. And my dad came out with these binoculars on because he was listening to his police radio. But that's another story. I have no proof of that. This, however, I do have proof of. I work now in a doctor's office in Brewer, Maine, right next to Bangor. And one day I'm at lunch and I'm looking out the window of the break room, and I see these two objects which didn't look like planes, even though there is an airport nearby in Bangor. These did not look like planes at all. They didn't move. They didn't make a sound. They just hovered there and stayed there. And they were lower than a plane would be, or a helicopter. And I'm just staring at them both for a little bit. And then I decided to get my cell phone out, and I quickly just put my cell phone up and start taking a video. So, what I'm going to show you is the video that I saw. Now, keep in mind, I was in a hurry, I was shaking, and it's through a window with blinds and the window top, which you'll see, which blocked the second one from being seen that much. And as soon as I stopped the video, I ran outside, and by the time I got outside, one of the objects just was gone. It disappeared. And one of them stayed behind, but it went up and up and up and up, straight up into the atmosphere. I watched it with my eyes. I could not see it with my cell phone. It was too small. Because it went straight up, and I watched it for about 15 minutes until it disappeared from view. But the stuff I got on my camera from this window is what I want you guys to see, and here it is. So I'm at lunch, and I see these out the window. They looked a lot lower. See that? The top of the window frame, I couldn't get one of them. but they are oddly shaped and a lot lower than they should be for planes or helicopters. I could not get a good shot of them, so I went outside. And when I went outside, I had even worse luck. So then I ran outside and tried to capture whatever I saw outside the building right there, but in this case I did not capture it. As you can see, I couldn't see it, nothing. And then finally I tried again, but all I caught was the very left top and the very right top of what they were, and that was it. They were gone. Let's see. Right, left, see? And then after that, I just looked and saw that one of them was already gone, totally out of view, and the one that was still there just went straight up into the atmosphere, and all I can see was this black thing getting smaller and smaller and smaller until it finally disappeared into the atmosphere. I must have stood there about 15 minutes just watching that one little dot go straight up, and that was all it was. In fact, I actually told my story to MUFON and gave my my story to them with the videos. And I actually got a call from somebody at MUFON, which is kind of cool. So yeah, I actually got to tell my story to someone from MUFON and had a real investigator talk to me about it. Anyway, guys, this is all for this week. I'll see you next time.
Ice cold lemonade.
Where are they?